Sasa, you've decided Microsoft is no longer the place for me. Although I'm thinking now this is the most fantastic employer anyone would ever want.
So interesting story. And indeed, Microsoft was a very good employer. It reached a point where I felt I was restless and I needed to move on. So I put in my resignation and, it goes to our main office in South Africa. There's a concept I have. I call it the Me Limited concept.
Yes.
The Me Limited concept, in Kiswahili I say Mimi Limited, says that you are the CEO of Me Limited. This is your life. You're the CEO of your life. And there's no one who's going to do strategy for your life, get the right board members for your life, and so on and so forth. The people who surround you,
It's you.
it's you.
Welcome back. This is the executive table with me, Mary Wamai. Wambui Mbesa in the house, and the story continues, getting more and more interesting. Stay with us. Wambui, Sasa, you've decided Microsoft is no longer the place for me. Although I'm thinking now this is the most fantastic employer anyone would ever want. How did that go?
So interesting story. And indeed, Microsoft was a very good employer. But like I said, it reached a point where I felt I was restless and I needed to move on. So I put in my resignation and, it goes to our main office in South Africa because East and Southern Africa used to report into South Africa. He writes to me and he tells me, Wambui, what's going on? Why are you leaving? What can we do? And then my boss in the UK also flies in, actually.
Comes in
person.
Wow.
And he used to come often. So, and so he comes in and we have a conversation. What do you want? So I said, individual contributor, I need a team, there's so much to do and, probably we can structure or restructure the business solutions unit in a different way for this region. So they make some changes. Now I have somebody in Dubai who will make all the calls, and I have a team, somebody, seated in Senegal, and so now it's a team that I'm sort of in charge in, and then they expand my territory. Now I have Mauritius, and Indian Ocean Islands. Before it was East and Southern Africa.
Yes.
Now I have Indian Ocean Islands, and so, okay, I'm set.
So you've got a new challenge.
I got a new challenge.
Yes.
Money was not my issue. Very interesting. They gave me a small bump because, of, the responsibility and so on, but actually that was not my issue. Anyway, so I decided to stay. Probably big mistake.
What you're telling us is that people can move the mountain for you if you're good. If you do a good job, the mountain will be moved
the mountain
for
will
you.
Be moved for you. Absolutely.
That's what happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
Now this mountain moving also brought a bit of, I believe, maybe I don't know whether it's disquiet or whatever, because the environment never remained the same. Now with everybody else.
After the changes.
Yes, after the changes. It didn't take me 1 year before I decided.
The environment is no longer good for
I am moving. Because my initial, desire was still there. Let me give you an example of how, feeling out of control, and I'm trying to get my ecosystem of the channel of partners. Now I've created many partners in Kenya, all the way to the south, and they want, for example, marketing material.
Yes.
But for marketing material, I don't have the marketing material that I can create locally. It's coming from somewhere, maybe in the US.
Yes.
And it could be a very nice slogan, but it's a picture of a lady in the car, the hair is blowing, and it's a dog, you know. And you take it to your partners and they're like,
what's this?
What is this? I can't use this in Kenya. It doesn't make sense, you know. So it's those little things, you know. Yes, you're still continuing, but you still don't have control of driving the business the way.
Yes.
And remember now, I've been a CEO, I've been in charge before. I sort of felt I lost control.
Yeah.
Anyway, but because of, you know, what I sensed, I decided now I'm resigning.
You were uncomfortable.
Yes. And I keep saying, you know, when you decide you're going, just go.
Go.
Because that initial thing never goes away. The one that made you want to go, you know, before.
It remains.
Yeah, so I resigned now for real.
For real. You know, sometimes we make a mistake.
Yeah.
And almost immediately, you know that was the worst mistake I ever made.
Yes.
But sometimes our pride does not allow us to admit.
Yes.
That was
a wrong move.
Big mistake. So we go on and
go on.
And things go more wrong, and you know you are deepening the hole. You know, so for you decided, let me accept.
Yes.
This thing
has
not
not
going
gone
to
the
work.
way. Yes.
Let me accept.
And immediately I started looking for an exit strategy.
Wow.
So, looking networks.
But did you feel like it required a lot of courage and bravery?
It did.
To accept.
But anyway, so we decided, you know, we parted ways very well. I said I'm not able to stay. We agreed on the reasons, and just at that time, maybe a month before I was actually leaving, I get a call from a headhunter. These those things where you know God's hand is somewhere. Because I get a call from a headhunter who tells me there's a European company. They want to get into Africa and they're looking for you.
Wow. You specifically.
The headhunter is the one who helped them.
Is recommending.
Yeah, he's recommending me. And they tell me, you've run your own business, you've been at Microsoft, you've done.
You've seen it all.
You're the one starting from zero, a European company. So I'm like, the stars have aligned again. Thank you, Lord.
Sounds interesting. And you like
Sounds
building.
interesting. And I like building.
Yeah.
Again, started my office in Java on Wayaki Way. Recruited employee number 001. We keep laughing. I was with him the other day, Rashid. This is in 2015. Go and see lawyers, set up a company, build a structure, and so on and so forth.
They are not even incorporated.
They're not incorporated. They just wanted to come to Africa.
What?
A tech company. And so we agree on, okay, I need we negotiated, and then I say, and you know what? I need a stake in this thing. We started the company. This company had their own IP in the financial space.
Yeah.
They had debt collection systems, you know, loans originate. I mean, everything in the financial services space.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started the company.
Wow.
This
is now
2015.
15.
Yes, 2015.
Yeah. And how did that go? I mean, I'm sure it was difficult.
It was difficult.
You know, the starting.
With all the startups.
And you are starting the base in Kenya?
Yes, Kenya for the whole of East and Southern Africa.
East and South.
Yes,
okay.
for the whole of East and Southern Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're recruiting, you know, tech talent.
Mm-hmm.
At some point in this company, we even had more women than men. And everyone asked me, you have more women than men in a tech company? I say, yeah. I never really went around doing it, but there are some things I've learned along the way.
Yes.
That ensures that my pipeline has tech women and men.
It's a good
I'm talking about
balance.
the pipeline. Yes, a good balance, because I know what diversity means.
Now, when you're on diversity, would you like to comment about, earlier on you said your first interaction with tech, it was all men.
Yes.
So can you tell us now how that landscape is changing gradually, and we are getting more and more women, both of course courageous enough to go, and here we are not just talking about technology, we are talking about the whole STEM area, mathematics, technology, engineering, and that whole space.
Yes.
So would you tell us how you have seen now over the years that landscape change, and hopefully for the better?
Yeah. Things have changed actually. As we speak, if you look at the latest statistics, women in tech in the workspace, it's about 20-something%. Currently.
Okay.
It'll be in the 20s. If you look at US, maybe Europe, even Africa, it's changing a bit. So it's better. We are somewhere.
Is growing.
The number
trend
is growing.
Is positive.
Yes. Yeah. The trend is positive, but I think it's too slow.
Okay.
We need to bridge this gap aggressively. Now, for me, it was a lot of things that used to happen. I kid you not. As the country director, when somebody called, I'm looking for Wambui. Now, remember I was in Uganda.
Yes.
And they don't know Wambui whether it's a man or a woman. I mean, because they don't know our names.
Yes.
The phone call would come through, and then the secretary would put the phone to me. And immediately they hear a lady's voice. You hear a hesitation. You know how you can just tell? It's a hesitation. Oh, we're looking for Mr. Wambui. I'm saying, this is she.
This is Mr. Wambui.
That's where we've come from. These days, even if you call a tech company and you find a lady, it's not
unusual.
This is, what? 15, 20 years ago? Because I'm talking about 2003.
And now you're 2025.
And now it's 20. It's about 20 years.
20 years.
This is where we've come from, where somebody's like, oh, even when you go to do a demo, you're the one leading the team. They're looking for the young boys to answer the questions because there is doubt. There's a doubt whether you know what you're talking about. And you can sense it.
Did anyone ever ask you, when is the boss coming? Is the boss coming for the presentation?
For the presentation, I'm telling you, it was said in many ways before they realize you're the boss.
I'm the boss.
Yes.
Wow.
But I would go with a team, and they would ask questions. I'm the lead, and they would be asking these
the
junior guys
male.
the questions. Yes.
Yeah.
And then they look at me, and I would answer. I would say, okay, Robert, answer that one.
Yeah.
So the landscape is changing. You find so that's a statistic. Now, there's also you see this programming thing and the the brotherhood that is there. If you look at the recruitment and you look at the pipeline, why is it that you're not having enough women in STEM and in tech?
Yes.
There's something wrong with the pipeline as well. The girls are not being encouraged to study in the lower levels because in the right subjects. And there could be a lot of dynamics in there. We know, especially in the rural areas, maybe the girls missing school because of this and that, and somehow the boys, they run ahead, pick up and run ahead. But one of the things I've also seen is, and I've talked to a few because I do a lot of mentoring of young girls. They're not role models. Yeah. You keep looking and you're just seeing men.
Yes.
And where do you see the women in other roles?
Yes.
The teachers,
more supportive,
supportive roles and all that. But I can say it is changing. And I'm seeing more and more women getting into the tech space. But I discovered the HR processes for recruiting in tech have a flaw.
They are skewed.
So every time somebody comes, even today, to my company to work, I always have coffee. I say coffee with the CEO. And the Java on Shell, they know me because sometimes they see me the whole day. Outside the office. They see me the whole day. I go to Shell, and people are coming, 20 minutes, hey, give me my bill at the end of the day. And I'm just getting to know people, 30 minutes. And I'm not interviewing because these guys have not yet gone through the process. I just want to know you. And one time, there was a brilliant person who was not in the finalists. Now where I come in and I was asked, where is so-and-so? I was told, no, they didn't make it. Why? And I knew why. Because when they came for my one-on-one, they were looking intoxicated. You could tell we were lala kwa bar. But a brilliant young man. That was a guy.
Papers are wonderful.
Papers are wonderful, very articulate, young man.
Yeah.
So I asked them, let me see the written exam, because they do an exam where either you're doing a coding or something. He had gotten 100%.
What?
But they kicked him out because of that. So I asked them, why? Madam, he doesn't look clean or whatever. I said, bring him back. Do you know we ended up employing him? We cleaned him up. Actually, we gave him an advance. I said, I know where he's living. Newco, and done his view where. They went, now the guys in the office, get him a new whatever. We gave him money to go to Owino. It's like Kikomba Hapa. Moved him. Do you know he became one of the best employees? Customers were asking for him.
What?
Yes. You need to give people a chance. And he became sober. I, sent him somewhere to have counseling and all that.
That's why we talk a lot about one of the great attributes of a good leader is being empathetic. Because once you are empathetic, you understand, or you want to inquire, make inquiries and understand. Why is this 100% technically competent guy? Why is he behaving like this way on this other side? Is there a problem? And then you realize, wow, it's a problem we can solve.
Exactly. And he was talent I needed, absolutely.
Wow.
And some of these things, even my own background and the opportunity I was given, I'm always wanting to give people opportunity.
And you want to listen.
Yes, and I want to listen. Anyway, come to the girls. Checking how we are recruiting girls. The way we put the adverts out, they're skewed.
In what way?
It could be the photo you're putting there. Looking for a developer in this and that, and you're putting a man's photo. I'm not saying there's any problem. Maybe you could look for 2 people and put there.
So psychologically, that's a man's job.
Yes, that's a man's job. Have you ever seen them doing a secretary and putting a man? So it's psychological. So somebody sees and like,
So that's male.
Yes, that's male. And then the wording, must be able to travel, must be, it's just the wording. Now, somebody who is, hey, I have a 3-month-old, let me skip this one. You understand? So you have to, and so I discovered that in our own organization. And I keep asking, where is so-and-so? And now, I realized we are actually very balanced in my office. The other day, when I won the Women on Boards, that is a year ago, not the last one, the other one.
2020.
Yes, and we're doing that, and I'm like, hi,
congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. We actually had more women in the company than men.
Wow.
We're not big. We're about 30-something people. Tech guys, but we had more women than men. Now it is going back. We've just recruited a whole 6 cohort, But so it's a pipeline problem. No role models, and then all these skewed, equal pay.
The whole process.
Maybe rising through the ladder, the corporate ladder becomes a problem because I'm dropping off to go to maternity. I have all these other responsibilities. If you don't have an employer who is very empathetic and understands that they can still get value, for example, by giving you flexible hours to work, because women are very hardworking.
Yeah, that's great. So please summarize for us, based now on your experience and what you've told us, what are the few critical things that employers at all levels, and actually not just in tech, I think we see this generally in very many industries, especially when it comes to the higher levels of employment, what can they do to create a little bit, make it a little bit more easy for the women, to get into the key positions, whether in the executive management, and I guess it also happens at the board level. Because those are the same dynamics that play. So just give us a few tips on based on what you had to do at your company. Women are shy.
Let me talk about naturally. They're not as forthright in terms of I'm aggressive as men. So you find an opportunity comes for a promotion, and you're thinking, okay, I'm 70% qualified. No, let me not go for it.
I don't have 30%.
I don't have 30%.
Of the requirements.
Yeah, the gentleman has 50%.
40.
He just 40, and he just, and he says, you know what, I can do this.
That's the job for me.
Exactly. So just actually overtly encouraging the women, you can do this, just apply for it.
Yes.
So that's one. And I think it's Google or Microsoft, one of the companies actually even has coaching internally. They say, hey, there's this job that is available. If you need coaching on the side, it's for the women. How will you answer the questions? And so, seriously.
Before the interview?
Before the interview, yes. Just coaching in terms of how to present yourself, whatever. And so they help them also to, so that they give you the opportunity to actually go for those jobs.
To prepare
adequately. Train, prepare. So that is one of them. The other one is this, this unconscious bias we keep talking about. It's actually a bias, and it's there. It's not for male, even female, we have unconscious bias. So again, ensuring that you put policies in place, and also you train people and all that, especially the managers who are overseeing,
the process.
To understand this unconscious bias, watch out for this and that, and just how to ensure that you're not caught in that. Being bias. And then the competence and the confidence.
Yes.
You tell the girls, you know these things, you're competent. Breathe in, breathe out.
I can do this.
I can do this. Talk to yourself.
Yes.
and then go for it. So really, there's no magic. Just get out of your head. By getting out of your head, we've been told we have all these things now. There's unconscious bias. There's a glass ceiling I have to break.
Yes.
There is there are so many things.
It's too hard.
It's too hard.
Hard.
So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes there's a voice in your head.
Yes.
So I say, get out of your head.
Yes. And just go
breathe
for
in,
it.
breathe out. Go for it.
Yeah. Okay, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So how many years later? Now, that's 2015.
Yes, 10 years.
How is it going?
10 years is going very well. In between, I've had 2 buyouts. So the owners on the other side are listed on the stock market in Greece.
So that's a big one.
Athens Stock Exchange. They're the first guys who we started the company with. And then somewhere after year 7, they're bought by a Danish company. So I'm back to the Danes. I started with the Danes. And then in 2023, we had another buyout.
You started with the incorporation of the company with nothing.
Yeah.
In Kenya.
Yes.
How big is the company now? So many years later?
Yeah.
Like, have you spread your wings in the region?
Yes, we have, and it's a beautiful story. Now we have clients in Zambia, we have clients in Uganda, Tanzania, Kenya. So basically, it's the whole region. Yes. We have customers in there, and from an employment point of view, we employ business analysts, engineers.
How many employees do you have?
Right now we're at around 30.
30.
Yes, 30.
Wonderful, and it's growing.
Yeah, and it's growing, and it's lean, and we cover the whole.
Very efficient.
Yes.
Operation.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now I'll ask you a very interesting, maybe vague question.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you consider yourself successful?
Okay, I like the fact that you said vague question. So I'll answer vaguely, but not vaguely. I'll be direct.
Yeah.
1, I think I've lived a good life.
Good. Tell us more.
2, yes, I think I am successful. And success for me is not money. It's okay, it followed.
You are where I wanted you now. I wanted you to define success in your own word, from your own lenses.
From my own lenses.
How do you define success? Because we all have to define what success looks like.
Absolutely.
On our own.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not like a one-size cut for everyone.
Yes.
Tell us from your own lenses.
From my own lenses. The first thing for me is because I didn't have a family. For me, success is family.
Having a good family.
Having a good family.
Wow.
I have my husband, we've been married 31 years. 31. We have children.
Wow.
They are, grown-ups, all of them.
They are going out now.
They are going out.
One is married.
Yes. There's something called a balanced vision. There's a vision of now and where I want to be 10 years.
From now.
From now. Where I want to be 10 years from now, in my opinion, should not steal away from where I am now.
Yes.
So there's a vision from now and 10.
Yes.
So I can work so hard to try and get my 5-year, 10-year vision, and I forget I have to watch my health. Yes. I need my family.
Yes.
You understand what I mean?
And I'm happy.
And I'm happy, yes,
Yeah.
I'm happy.
I'm doing things that make me happy also.
Exactly.
In the whole mix of things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, because I've been doing something that I love and enjoy, and this is just, running companies, getting a challenge and going for it,
Yes.
rallying all these developers and running these 10 companies and all that. The money followed.
Yes.
But it was not, initially when I was leaving teaching, I was trying to run away from poverty. It's good to say the truth. Because now I was like, poverty is just one step ahead.
Yes.
I mean, because I don't have family, I don't have, But now, as you move along, you acquire your assets along the way. And yes, so for me, it is those things that matter. Because at the end of the day, when I'm out of here, when you expire and you're gone,
Yeah.
nobody will remember you made all this money.
You drove this big
You
car.
drove the big car.
You lived in a big house somewhere.
Yes. Your legacy lives through the people you've touched, the children, I mean, so for me, yes. So yes, I think I have been successful.
Okay. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And we also told that we focus on finding our purpose and living our purpose, and the money will follow. Yeah. So you seem to be a believer in that concept. Because I believe when you started that school in Diani,
yes,
there was no money for you.
No,
actually didn't know whether you'd be paid.
No.
But you followed your passion and you followed your purpose. And eventually the money came.
The money came. One of the things the way I take the position I have in life, now I'm a CEO of a company, I have resources, I can pay school fees here, do this and that, is a platform. We are all given a platform.
Yeah.
Mine happens to be here. I'm running Relational FS and, it's a platform for me to actually do the purpose.
Yes.
Impact the world.
Impact others.
Impact others, build others, and really, for me, that's the legacy you leave behind. That's how I see it,
Yeah. So you tell us, you've talked about legacy. How are you building your own legacy now? What are you doing to be remembered? What are you doing?
Yeah. So mine will go into an interesting trajectory. There's God.
Yeah, for sure.
I believe in God. I'm what they call born again. Because I told you I was in Form 4. I asked Jesus to just help me. This life is so difficult.
It's hard. You need a companion.
Yes, I need a companion.
Who will never let you down.
So, I have this belief that it is important to instill the love for God in the hearts and minds of the next generation.
Yes.
Because everything holds together, even the work that we do. God is a creator himself.
Yes.
He's very creative. And he told Adam, go and multiply and so on and so forth. Yeah, so everybody must multiply. And in fact, the guys who were given the talents, the one who refused to go and multiply, he was thrown into the... So there's no listening. So it's not just the spiritual. Everything is one big, there's no compartments.
Yes.
Mary, hardworking, but in all that,
There's so
God
many
is
facets.
there. You know, there are so many facets. So for me, my legacy, I wanted to be somebody who pushed the God-led agenda of living a holistic life.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
And holistic doesn't mean laziness. Actually, there was a time I was interviewing, you know, for a position, and this girl came. It was a secretarial position.
Yeah.
And she came and she said she needs to go for. She can't work between 12:30 and 2:30 because she goes for prayers. I told her, so how are you going to do this job? Because actually, that's even the time that we really need.
People come in,
Yes.
people go out, phones are ringing.
Yes,
What?
and to cut the long story short, she didn't get the job.
Yeah.
She was shocked. You're a Christian and you're... I said, you're missing the point. We are the ones who are supposed to be excellent,
Yeah.
and there's no, what you call mediocrity.
And we must integrate everything into everything else.
Everything else, exactly.
Because you can't tell the client, I can't see you because
Yeah,
I'm going for prayers.
Yes, exactly.
And you've met.
Exactly.
Yeah. They are there.
Yes. So I know, you know, but honestly, that's how I see it in my lens.
Yes.
And that's a legacy.
Yeah.
Because that lives on. And, you know, we've tried to impart it on our children and everybody we meet. You know, everybody we help because we pay a lot of school fees for, you know, children here and there and involved in scholarships.
Yeah.
Yes. And, you know, so scholarships. So we do a lot of that. And my husband and I are in the Logos Scholarship Fund. And every time these kids close the school, we actually go and mentor them.
Oh, wonderful.
And we call it SPARK. So you're mentoring them. The S is for spiritual, you know, and then PR anyway, and then academic is there. The A is academic, community, how you integrate community, you know, SPARK with a C at the end.
With a C, for community.
So it's holistic. And I think that is what should also be in society when you're working and so on. You must be working for a greater good.
Yeah.
Because you will leave. I mean, you just need, what they say, CG what by what?
Yeah. 6 by 6.
6 by 6. So
people don't like hearing this. You guys don't like hearing this.
Yes. Yeah. So it's really what you've made, what you've passed on to the previous generation. And the last point there. The other day we were looking at all the photos. So my kids were like, because we're here for the wedding, my kids were like, oh yeah, so this is grandpa. They're all grown up, so, you know, showing. I have photos of my father, which I got eventually, and his father, and so on. And on my father's side, like that.
Family tree up to some point.
Up to some point. And you know, they say, honestly, you'll only be remembered, and I'm sorry if I'm, you know, you'll only be remembered up to the grandfather or grandmother.
Yes.
Beyond that, nobody even remembers.
Maybe once in a while they might hear if you are lucky.
Once in a while they might.
There was someone called Wambui.
Yes. Nobody even comes to your grave anymore. But that's life. So it's just how do you pass on the baton, impact this generation, and ensure that they impact the next
generation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll never know if my children are successful until I see how they raise their own children. That's when you know whether you've passed on the baton.
And what they do to support others, not necessarily their children.
Yes,
but
exactly.
Or people in their family. How they support the community and acts of, you know, the acts of kindness.
Yeah, exactly.
That they do to others and all that.
That's when you know how you've passed on. Yeah, so.
My research also tells me that you mentor women under the Women on Boards network. Tell me about that and why you do it and how it's going.
Women on Boards. Catherine Mosakali. Do you know how I got to Women on Boards?
No. Tell me.
When I was doing my 6-month stint wherever I was, I went to see Cecily Karaoke. That time she was a former, you know, she's a former CS.
The former CS, I remember.
She was a fantastic lady.
Yeah, previously.
And she was a PS in, was it health or agriculture?
I think it was health.
I think it was health.
Yeah.
2015. But I did my MBA with Cicely.
So you knew her before?
So I knew her before. And our paths kept crossing.
The power of networks.
The power of networks. And should I say, by the way, I was the best student that year.
Hey, but do I say?
And I remember I was very pregnant with my last born. And
wow.
when you know, they give you certificates, and then now they say who the best students
Yes.
is. And then they call Wambui Mbesa. And I'm looking around, I'm like, okay, again, this thing. Anyway, and I walk in and everybody's like, hey, she had help. You can see her hormones.
She was not alone.
She was not alone. She had help.
Wow.
Anyway.
That's a good joke.
By the way. So I go to see Cicely and I'm like, Cicely, I need advice. No. After we finish everything we talk, she's like, Wambui, have you heard of the Women on Boards Network? It had just started. I think it was maybe the second year. I said, no, I haven't heard of it. Go and look for Catherine Musakali. And she gave me the number.
Her number?
Yes. And I went and I called Catherine and showed me, yeah, you can join.
Wow.
So my time in Women on Boards is almost the same time as when it started,
Yeah, she told us she started around 2015.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was around that time. This was probably 2015. Yeah. I think they started end of 2014, 2015.
Around there.
So I have benefited so much from Women on Boards.
Wow.
I have, they took us through this 10-week training, even doing mock board, they give you papers to go and read, then you come and you sit, And they've really empowered us. And you have to give back. You have to give forward.
Wow.
So that's what I do. So I mentor. I know you also do.
Yeah, I do.
Have a good time.
Do.
It's not
it's
a walk in the
amazing.
park in the sense that, it's a sacrifice, but it's worth it because other people sacrificed for me.
One of the mantras I live with is the question of when you learn, you teach others.
Yes.
When you get, you give others. And that's, I guess, what you're doing.
Yes.
Teaching others.
Yeah.
And giving what you have gotten.
Yes.
Scholarships and other support and all that. And it's very satisfying. Yeah, so...
And those are the reasons why you also get to be called in other boards because...
Yes. Exactly. You have demonstrated. And what I also believe is that it all comes back to you.
It does.
When you give in a very big way.
Yes.
Maybe sometimes indirectly.
Yeah, it does.
And now another question for you. Tell us about the school of Maastricht.
Maastricht.
You know where I am from.
Yes.
Tell us about it. What did you go to do there?
Yes.
And why did you go there?
Yes. So this is where actually I was with Cicely.
Yes. Oh, that was the MBA?
Yes, that was the MBA.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. In what? What did you do the MBA?
Personally, I did strategic management.
Strategic management.
Yeah, strategic management.
Is there any reason why you chose to do the MBA in strategic management?
Yes. It was
what were you going through?
Deliberate.
Tell us.
Yeah. Now let me explain. Maastricht Business School has a program with SME. You've heard of the SME?
Yes.
Yes. So sometimes you're here, sometimes you're in Tanzania.
It's an exchange program?
No. They use SME to teach the MBA.
To do their programs.
So, to do their program. So they fly in. So they would fly in from Netherlands. And sometimes we would have to go even to Tanzania because SME headquartered in Tanzania. So the lecturers, would...
they were rotating.
Yeah, rotating and so on.
Yes.
But we had just bought a company.
Yes.
In 2002. And I realized, oh my God, I really need to
up my game.
That's when I enrolled.
Wow.
And I think that's why I was the best student. Everything we were learning, I was putting in my company.
Wow.
Okay, now it's HR.
Yes.
Do this. I remember giving okay guys, it's anonymous. We have to do an HR, feedback from employees,
Yes.
Like feedback from employees. Anyway, but we had to do a paper. We had to do, practically go and something I would not look for. You know how you look for other companies? Can I collect data? I was doing it on
go to yours.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know how?
Wow.
Everything we did, strategy for your company. Fungia, everybody, we're doing strategy. And we do the strategy, what our strengths, our weaknesses, our threats are, and I would apply to the company. This is the reason we became excellent with Microsoft, by the way.
Yes.
We went to the US so many times. Every year would go in. We're WECA Partner of the Year. And then there's something called the President's Club that used to only recognize the top partners of Microsoft by excellence, by revenue and all that. Not that we're making the most revenue, because, you can't compare our companies with the European companies.
Yeah.
But we're growing in hundreds of percentage. This time you made, I don't know how many dollars. Now you're making double the amount, even though in terms of absolute value, maybe it wasn't that. You understand it? We're called twice. Presidents, you're going to meet UCO, the top Microsoft, So everything I would do, this is why I went to do my MBA. It was completely intentional.
Very intentional. Based on your stage of...
Based on my stage of where I
growth.
was, what I was grappling with.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I was going to school, I was getting a baby, I was hustling to get
so many
RFPs
balls in the air.
and jobs to do, very big job, big whatevers,
Yeah.
And so that, so there are many challenges in that sense, but yes. And there's one challenge I need to tell you, because we talked, I think we glossed over it, and you asked about maybe the challenges, in STEM and so on. I won an award for a big job, and I went to get my award letter.
Yes.
And this guy looks at me and he says, I have the award letter, but I'll give you over the weekend. Weekend there, and I give you the award.
What? But it's here.
These are the things that ladies in STEM, honestly, because he wouldn't have done that if it was a man.
If it was a man.
Yes. And I was so naive and young, and I remember just, because I'd not even anticipated it.
You got a shock.
I got a shock, and the only thing I could tell him is, but I'm married. And he told me, even me, I'm married.
What's the big deal?
In other words, what's the big deal?
What?
Mary, to cut the whole story short.
You lost it.
I lost it. I had to leave. And I was crying.
You felt violated.
I felt violated. I've won this thing. Do you know this thing eventually was retendered and I lost it? Of course, I couldn't tell anybody. But after that, nobody could. I am prepared. And I tell guys, anticipate these questions. They will come.
Yeah.
If somebody tells you, seriously, sometimes, they might tell me this. You look in the face.
Yeah.
And you tell them, you know what, this is wrong. And if it's how it's going to go, maybe I escalate. You're not the boss. And they will fear, and they will give you that thing.
Yeah.
And there are many others such stories. Just maybe to wrap that up, because I wanted to say a challenge. The statistics show that 77% or so of women in technology actually report that they have faced sexism or
and
those
harassment
kind of remarks of one way or another. Or another.
That's high.
Yeah, it's high.
Wow. We have discussed a lot about integrity in several fora. And one of the complaints that we get is people say, when I become a person of integrity, I lose everything. I lose my job. I lose my friends. I lose my community. I lose my... no one wants to talk to... The cost is too high.
Yes.
What do you want to say about that in the context of doing business or career growth, depending on what people are doing?
I think integrity equates to a lot of things. And as everybody always says, integrity is not what I tell you, what you see me do, but it's those things that happen when nobody is watching
or listening.
Yes. So if you go to the workplace and you're an employee, and I tell this always to my employees, what does integrity look like? One, I'm not all over you. Why did you come late? In fact, I don't care what time employees come to work. because I expect you to be self-disciplined and self-led. I tell them you must lead yourself. But I look at your output and so on. The second thing is the values that you have. Because when I look at integrity, sometimes when you list down the values, I know integrity comes in there. But I like to look at it this way. My values are in another way. Number one, make it happen. By making it happen, meaning do what you're supposed to do. So when an employee comes to me and tells me, I have this, there's this, I can't do this, I'm like, go and make it happen. Of course, I expect you to make it happen with integrity. You're not cutting corners. Go and make it happen. If you make it happen and you make it happen the right way, that's integrity.
Yeah.
Number two, I tell them, be the link. What does be the link mean? Life is not about you. The person next to you, how can you be the link? Whether it's a team member and all that, are you helping them to achieve the goal so that the company can achieve to
become better?
Yeah, better as an individual and the company achieves this goal. To me, that's how integrity looks like.
Yeah.
Not to see you suffering, I'm saying, oh, good for her. Now I'm going to get the promotion. You see, yeah?
Yeah.
That's why when somebody asks me, what are your values? I don't say integrity, hard work, I've just said all those things in another way.
Be kind to others.
Be kind to others. Be the link.
And supportive.
Yes, you cannot do life alone.
Yeah.
Everybody is linked, and even at the place of work is the same.
That's wonderful.
Number three, I just have probably about 5. Number 3 is your own personal growth. If you're not improving yourself, I have a problem with your integrity. I'll tell you why. The world is changing every day. If I'm going to serve my customer and I have the knowledge of yesterday and I don't know, guys are coming, and I'm still selling the software I used to sell 20 years ago, there's a problem, right? What are we talking about now? Digital platforms, artificial intelligence, Integrity is making sure that I am also ahead of the curve so that
equipping myself with the
so I can serve
knowledge.
my customer better. And by the way, equipping myself, these days I tell my team, you're the ones equipping, and then I learn from you, reverse peer, because they are ahead of me.
Do the hard work.
Yeah, do the hard work. Tell me what is the latest trend.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, your own learning. The fourth one is customer success.
Yeah.
For me, if our customers are not succeeding,
what are we doing?
What are we doing? Customer is crying every day,
We have failed.
Yes. For me, something is wrong.
Wow.
And then the final piece, I always say, because we're in technology,
yes,
fuel creativity. Fuel creativity for yourself. Why is that integrity? You're here, you're young. You go into a meeting, you're not contributing, you're not reading. We have given you all these platforms. Go and read. Because if this company is not growing, it's not my responsibility. It is all of you down there. So for me, those 5 things sum up. It's actions that you must do, then feed into whether you have integrity or not. Yeah, but I know obviously integrity is about, all these other things, fairness, get your business. I have lost a lot of business, by the way. Your mama named Kali. They see, I've gone through all those things. You put in your whatever and then they call you. You didn't bring in your certificate of incorporation. Really? But having done business in the region widely, I say Kenya is a bit difficult.
Yeah, but what you're saying is that we must define our minimum non-negotiables.
Yes.
And say,
I'm
not going there.
I'm not crossing this line.
My red line is here.
Yes.
I don't remember who told us about the red line.
Yeah.
This is mine.
Yes. Yeah, and no is a good word. No is not a bad word.
Yeah,
in
someone
every
told us
sense.
no is next one. If I miss this one,
you'll get the next one.
I mean, after you lost that one for Uganda, I'm sure you got several more.
Oh my goodness,
nice
contracts. We got good contracts.
Oh, it's not lost. Now, I'm asking this question on behalf of my viewers, especially my TikTok viewers. I know they will ask.
Yes.
What do I have to do to look as good as you're looking today? After so many years of working and doing business, please tell us.
Oh, thank you.
Look good.
I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you very much.
It is.
Get the right partner in every sense. And I know, there's a lot of this, but I'm talking about husband. Because sometimes at the home front, that is one of the potential places.
And if you're a man, the wife.
And if you're a man, the wife. That's why I said get a right partner.
Yeah.
It does help. Of course, life happens and things might not, work out. But yeah, for me, that worked out. And then in business, get the right partners as well. Even in business. If you get the wrong partner, you've heard in the story that I've told. I mean, it can go wrong.
Yes.
And it can go very wrong.
Yes.
And then last but not least, there's a concept I have. I call it the me limited concept.
Yes.
The me limited concept, in Kiswahili I say Mimi limited, says that you are the CEO of me limited.
Of your life.
This is your life. You're the CEO of your life. And there's no one who's going to do strategy for your life, get the right board members for your life, and so on and so forth. The people who surround you.
It's you.
It's you. So me limited. Just make sure you take that company and make sure it succeeds. If you need to kick out board members,
kick
them out. And every season has board members for it, meaning people around your life. Me limited is very important. And at the end of the day, for me, the chairman of Me Limited, was Wambui, and I always end by saying this, is God himself.
Yes.
Because I can do everything through Christ who strengthens me.
Oh,
yes.
So nice. Wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Wow, Wambui, thank you so much for sharing all that knowledge, your experiences, some very personal. We really appreciate, and I'm sure that on behalf of our viewers, they will learn a lot from all the experiences, looking at it from different perspectives, because that is why we come to the executive table, to put everything on the table. You pick what will help you and learn from the experiences of others. Yes. We always say that we don't need to reinvent the wheel. So some people have gone through experiences and we learn from them. So can you give us a parting shot?
Okay.
The last word.
Okay, so the last word. You know what? You do you.
I
hear young people saying that, and my own children telling that, Mom, you do you. So go and do you. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you for watching. This has been Wambui Mbesa on the executive table with Mary Wamai. We are glad you are with us, and we'll continue bringing more guests who will tell us very many different perspectives about life and all. We are here for you. Keep the comments, questions, clarifications coming. I am looking at all of them, and we will address them in various ways, either through other guests or through direct answers or whatever. We'll do what we need to do for you. Thank you very much.